Welcome to The Explainer. It's a fascinating question. How does someone who has literally everything, we're talking absolute wealth, power, all the pleasure you can imagine, how do they find the will to just give it all up? Well, today we're diving into a really powerful story from the Maharatnakuta Sutra. It's about a prince who had to escape what was basically a perfect paradise just to find his true purpose.
And yeah, the scripture does not pull any punches. It kicks things right off with this really stark warning, framing desire not just as some little distraction, but as our single greatest enemy. So right away, the stage is set for this huge conflict between, worldly attachment and the hunt for spiritual freedom.
Okay, so before we get to our prince, we've got to understand the prison he was born into. The text itself calls it the fetters of desire, which is a powerful way of saying that our cravings, our attachments, that's the real root of all our suffering. Now, when the text talks about desire, it's not just talking about, wanting a new phone or something. It's way deeper than that. I think a good way to picture it is like a form of gravity, right? It's this powerful force that's always pulling our attention down, down, down toward these fleeting, temporary pleasures. And the thing is, it's a force that totally clouds our judgment and gets us stuck in this endless cycle of just wanting more. It basically stops us from ever looking up and seeing that there might be a clearer, much more meaningful path available.
All right, and this is where our main character comes in. We're about to meet a man who wasn't just tempted by desire. He was living smack in the middle of it, at its absolute epicenter. Let's talk about Prince Dignan.
So just try to imagine this. His entire world was engineered, just meticulously designed for one thing and one thing only: pleasure. It was basically a palace of perfect distractions. His life was built from the ground up to satisfy every single impulse, maybe even before he knew he had it. And listen, when the text says his life was indulgent, that's a massive understatement. Get this, at his birth, his parents gifted him 84,000 court ladies. And then, as if that wasn't enough, his friends and relatives came along and gave him 2 more sets of 84,000. It's just, the scale is unbelievable, right? It's symbolic, of course. It's meant to show a level of excess that's almost impossible for us to even wrap our heads around.
On top of all that, to make sure he was always perfectly comfortable, his father built him not one but 3 magnificent palaces. One for the hot season, one for the rainy season, and one for the cold. And all the while, he's just surrounded by this endless, beautiful music. His life was, literally, the embodiment of sensual indulgence. But you know how these stories go. Even in this perfectly built paradise, a little crack started to appear. A single, fleeting moment of insight managed to cut through all that noise, and it changed absolutely everything. So one day, he's just listening to music, right? And this simple thought hits him. He notices how every single sound arises, and then it's gone. It ceases. And in that one instant, he totally gets it. He grasps the truth of impermanence. Now, this realization was so powerful, so profound, that for the next, and this is wild, for the next 40,000 years, he kept living in his palaces, surrounded by all that pleasure, but he wasn't attached to any of it anymore. He was there, but he wasn't there, He was living in the world, but he wasn't of it. And that's when he started to develop some serious spiritual power. So, using these new spiritual abilities, he sets off to find the Buddha of his era. He's looking for guidance. He actually travels through the air to get there. But when he finally arrives, he's met with just devastating news. The Buddha was gone. The monks tell him, the Tathagata has now entered parinirvana. And what that means essentially is the final nirvana. It's the complete end of the cycle of rebirth that happens when a fully awakened being passes away. For the prince, this was crushing. His one chance to learn directly from the enlightened guide of his age, it was just gone.
And the prince just collapses in grief. You can feel the weight of it in his words. This missed opportunity is just immense. Think about it. After finally waking up from this whole life of distraction, he feels completely and utterly lost. Like he's just adrift in the universe with no one to guide him.
But right there, at his absolute lowest point, in this moment of just total despair, the prince does something truly extraordinary.
See, instead of just staying there, lost in his regret, he gets up. He takes all of that intense, powerful grief and he channels it. He literally transforms it into this unshakable, forward-looking resolve. And folks, this is the real turning point of the whole story. He doesn't just, make a quiet promise to himself. No way. He declares these 4 vows out loud for everyone to hear, and then he does something incredible. He stakes the very truth of his intention on an absolute, undeniable miracle.
And the miracle happens. The Buddha rises. This moment, right here, this is the core message of the entire story. It's showing us that the power of a pure, sincere intention can be so immense, so powerful, that it can literally bend the laws of reality, even defying the finality of death itself. So that one single moment of resolve, it wasn't just about a temporary miracle. Oh no. It completely reshaped the prince's entire destiny for countless ages to come.
And this timeline really shows you the long-term payoff of that one vow. I mean, his journey wasn't instant, not at all. His conviction guided him through kalpas. We're talking about an expansive time that is just unimaginable. And during that time, he met and served 7,000 different Buddhas on his path toward full enlightenment. And here's the really crucial part. His ultimate achievement wasn't just for him. It wasn't selfish. He became a Buddha so that he could teach and benefit countless other beings. He left behind this incredible legacy of wisdom that lasted for 10,000 years after he passed. So you see, he didn't just save himself, he completed the full Bodhisattva's path, which is all about saving others.
So when you look at it all, this ancient story is so much more than just a myth, right? It's really a powerful metaphor for our own potential. It shows us that one single moment of pure, unwavering resolve really can break the strongest chains of attachment. It can help us transform our deepest regrets into our most profound and lasting purpose.
And that really leaves us with a pretty big question to think about, doesn't it? Bodhisattva Denyan broke free from a literal palace of desire. But what are the gilded cages in our own lives? You know, the invisible prisons of attachment that hold us back. And what sincere, powerful vow would it take for us to finally find our way out?